Ladies and gentlemen, as the founder and CEO of Paytm, Vijay Shekhar Sharma made digital payments, in fact, as easy as a tap, a scan, or a swipe, fueled by passion, persistence, and a little bit of jugaad. Well, you can't take that out of an Indian, isn't it, Swati? He is on a mission to make India the innovation capital of the world. Please join us in welcoming Vijay Shekhar Sharma, and we will also like to invite the managing editor, Times Network, and Chief Business Officer, Times Influence, Mihir Bhatt, to moderate this session.
सर, जैसे आपने देखा होगा, थीम इज कीपिंग भारत अहेड, एंड यू आर, आई थिंक, अ पोस्टर बॉय who has actually, I would say, realized this dream of keeping Bharat ahead, right? And I'll stress on word Bharat. So, first of all, what do you think of this theme, and what is your thought process about this?
Yeah, I think, first of all, thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me here, Mihir. I do agree. जब मैंने भारत पढ़ा तो मुझे खुद समझ में आया कि वी आर टॉकिंग नाउ द इंडिया दैट गोज बियॉन्ड द टॉप सिटीज, एंड दैट इज एग्जैक्टली द अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ इंडिया इज, बिकॉज इट इज कंटिन्यूसली बीइंग प्रूवन दैट अप टिल सर्टेन पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, लेट्स से लास्ट 10 years, 20 years, the big cities used to have large percentage of contribution of GDP, and now that has reached to the tier 6, tier 5 cities also, and there maybe the India is not the correct word to pronounce, but the Bharat is. And the good thing I want to also tell here is कि आपने ना इंडिया प्लस भारत अलग अलग नहीं कहा, आपने उसको ना भारत ही बोला, एंड दिस इज व्हाट इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग इज. आई पर्सनली बिलीव by calling that we are building for India and separately Bharat, you also sort of you become uninclusive, or it is not wholesome to call out that you're building two separate things, but it is rather your own customer that you are addressing in different geographies, if you will. So building for Bharat and keeping Bharat ahead for 2047, I truly admire that you could take a stand, and I'm sure a long term will go long. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. But Vijay, you will play a pivotal role in, keeping Bharat ahead. And I'm not making a rhetorical statement, but one thing is very clear, that अगर भारत को आगे लेके जाना है, then there are a couple of engines, but the key engine is going to be innovation and technology. These twin engines can ensure that India continues to move forward. What is your take? Because you are considered to be a poster boy of innovation and using technology.
First of all, thank you. बहुत poster boy हो गया. Thank you for calling that out. I go to college, engineering college convocations, and I tell students that when you are recruited by, let's say, a company that is serving international customers, and there is a joy in that, you get a little more money than normal job. When you work for a country and companies belonging to that country, you're actually growing that country. When you solve your own country's problem, you're growing all of us together. So in your life, maybe 20 years back it was not an option, because the better option was inevitably in commercial sense and reward sense and many other fulfillment of self needs. You could say that I would go internationally, but I can say in last 10 years this country has dramatically changed, and we as young Indians should not just think of that we can have journey outside India, but we should think, what if I try to create an opportunity or solution to the opportunity in India that will do two things. You will get reward of the country's economy, and you will also be able to solve for what our country's needs are. And that, I believe, is the first and foremost element to it. That India, which traditionally was deprived of the talent to solve for India's problem, has now ample and enough of it. The very Startup India, the very Digital India initiative, our Honorable Prime Minister continues to pursue that, and then we continue to see every year more elements to show up, is a classic example of it, that government or the leadership of this country is able to respect and honor the people who are trying to solve bottom up the problems that this country solved. And now, like you know it, every foreigner who comes in India sees the payment system, sees the digital infrastructure, even commerce elements that we are talking. जिस तरह से कोविड में हुआ कि आपका कोविड टेस्ट जैसे घर पे आके जाता था, लोग ट्वीट पे अपनी आप लिख रहे थे ऑर्गेनिकली कि यूएस में मैं हूँ तो मुझे मिलता नहीं है अपॉइंटमेंट, और क्या पेन है, यहाँ पे क्या होता है. सो सर्विस डिलीवरीज, डिजिटल सर्विस डिलीवरीज, दीज आर very phenomenal global experiences that we are building in India. So talent exists, opportunity exists, and now the viable business models and the companies that have been able to be successful with it are inspiring even a generation ahead of us, and even larger generation, I'd say, to solve for even further problems. So now you're talking about space startups, which was a very interesting thing to guess, because earlier you were building something very visible next to you. Food delivery, payments, these are very visible to you problems. Space is a little farther away in your thought process that you'll solve for it, but it is so good to see, it is so inspiring to see young generation of our country is able to see the problems which are long-term fruit bearing, not a short-term gratification only.
Right. Vijay, I want to understand on technology. There is this whole wave of revolution that's taking place thanks to artificial intelligence, and we have two superpowers almost at loggerheads about who will dominate this technology. India obviously is going to play a very crucial role because of the population, because of the demography, and because of our technological prowess, especially when it comes to IT and ITES. What is your outlook on AI?
Obviously, there is no doubt about it that AI's capabilities are so revolutionary, and more or less I would guess that they are underestimated by many, because not many are playing with it. Only a set of people who are like very early adapter, change agent sort of people though are using it. And to give you a clue, if you were using internet in 94, 95, 96, it is that era. It is not even 2000. It is 94, 95. Remember, some of you would remember the Lynx browser used to be, which was a text-only browser. So today's AI is a text-only AI. Literally yesterday, we saw the first image AI get launched, and look at this, the excitement the world is having. So the text AI was the 94, 95, 96 of internet. Now we are getting images, then we'll get videos, and then we'll get multimedia. Then we'll get the experience which is like, oh my God, how could I live without it experience? So right now it is fitting in to solve certain element of our work. Over the period, it will become a significant element of our work, meaning without it, it won't possible. Like smartphone, we feel, oh, मैं जा रहा हूँ तो मुझे पता होगा मेरा फोन लेके आना छूट गया. उस तरह से आपका लॉगिन हुआ करेगा आपके एजेंट स्ट्रोक एआई सपोर्ट सिस्टम में. सो दिस इज रिवोल्यूशन ऑफ आवर टाइम्स. And just like internet or smartphone revolution, it will be bigger than the previous revolutions. And like you said it, the fight is going on between two countries right now. But at the same point in time, India has opportunity to build sovereign model, India foundation model. But the challenge is the race is so fast right now. The race has accelerated for the features and nuances that maybe the open source revolution that is happening in both sides of the world, we would ride that to build a foundation model. So that is a lot yet pending to be done.
Right. But Vijay, are we doing enough in terms of innovation? And especially like you mentioned, the race is actually very fast and things are evolving on daily basis, sometimes on hourly basis. Are we doing enough, or are we keeping pace, or are we just waking up to it?
Okay, so I remember somebody tweeted on internet when R1 got released. R1 is DeepSeek R1 model, and the person said that, wow, we're busy delivering food while somebody is building R1. But this is exactly what I want everybody as an audience or innovators or the business players to know it. It's a state of life. When you are a teenager, you don't do the job that adults do. That ecosystem has continuously grown ahead of us in terms of timeline and maturity, resources and scale versus our ecosystem. The good thing is that you are expecting from us, we don't expect this from Europe. You don't expect this from, let's say, Turkey. You don't expect this from even nearest population, whether Indonesia or Pakistan at all. I mean, Pakistan to question ही नहीं होना चाहिए था, ये कहाँ से आ गया जवाब? My point is that we are at least as a part of our global ecosystem of technology and capability on the back of the talent of India in the race. Yes, I can never be saying that we will do enough. If we were literally neck to neck with, let's say, China, which is the next port of milestone or thing to benchmark upon, then also we will not be satisfied because there is something called US ahead. If we were in US, then we will say the same thing that somebody is saying. So the race continues. At the same point in time, I'm happy that we are part of the race. And I'm sad that amount of things that we have to do to that milestone are so many that maybe in the AI race, we will have to be finding out our success in a way that this is the last frontier where we were number 3. In the next frontier, why not be the top spot and lead the world?
So now I want to come back to your business, and the reason I'm coming back to your business is because the way Google changed the entrepreneurial ecosystem globally, right, with their platforms. To a large extent, that's what Paytm has done in India, especially for smaller businesses in, let's say, tier 5, tier 6, right, like you mentioned. Now, that, and when you look at the technological revolution or change that is coming, how are you going to deal with it or cope with it?
We help the small business, we help the masses of this country, and the technology enability and capability that we are bringing in, I see our role not only as financial inclusion champion, also the technology inclusion champion. So you saw the sound box, which was something on the counter. We want to increase its capability, and we will increase its capability and add the element #AI into it expectedly, so that it can try discovering some of the services and things that this small shopkeeper can get a better advantage of. If nothing, at least it has a memory towards के महीने का क्या बिल है, और इसको बोल सकते हो कि मेरे इतने कैश आया, इसको भी जोड़ दो, तो मैं सब कुछ सोच सकूँ, और मेरे 4-5 लोग आए. मतलब, you know what I'm trying to tell you is that we continue to try out number of things within ourselves and then try figure out how we can build something which is the largest common denominator product that you deliver. Obviously we build invoicing system etc. that we did, but they're not at scale large as visible impact. But I do believe AI will give us an opportunity to make lower cost, highly compliant technology systems for small businesses. And this will generate further formalization of economy, because right now payment is the beginning and the technology will be the slope that it takes it off. So in my opinion, the number of services, just like I told you, that can practically an assistant, practically a business partner, practically a somebody whom you can call effectively co-founder of your business if you are a small business.
I want to understand, you know, there is this fear mongering, but I'm afraid of actually using the term fear mongering because we don't know what is true. But there is this constant chatter of, job losses, the way skill sets will change or the requirement of skill sets will change thanks to AI.
Correct.
What is your view on that?
Well, it's no secret. अभी आप अगर देखो तो STD PCO बूथ अब नहीं लिखते हैं, क्योंकि एक टाइम पे दिखते थे तो जॉब चेंज हुआ उनका. आप देखते होंगे कि जो लोग रोड साइड पेंट करके कुछ होर्डिंग से बना रहे होते थे, जो रोड्स पे चल रहे होते थे, नॉट नेसेसरली जस्ट द होर्डिंग, कुछ पोस्टर बनाने वाली कंपनियां खत्म हो गई, कुछ PCO वगैरह खत्म हो गए, पेंटर उड़े, ऐसे करके बहुत सारी जॉब्स चेंज हुए. एंड सम ऑफ अस डिड नॉट रियलाइज इट डिड चेंज, एंड नाउ यू आर एक्सपेक्टिंग कि सम जॉब्स विल गो. आंसर इज यस. ये तो प्रकृति का नियम है ना, जब तक पुराना नहीं जाएगा नया नहीं आएगा. तो भगवान कृष्ण भी कह के गए थे, मैं क्या बोलूं. तो क्या आपकी जॉब, करंट वाली जॉब्स चेंज खत्म होंगी? हाँ, वत्स, तभी तो नई जॉब आएगी.
नहीं, मैं इसलिए पूछ रहा था बिकॉज आपको कई लोग टेक्नोलॉजी का
होगा,
मानते हैं.
इट इज इनएविटेबल और अच्छे के लिए होगा. जो नया होता है वो पुराने की स्किल, एबिलिटी, गुडनेस को इनहेरिट करके आगे बढ़ता है. सो इसलिए अच्छा होगा.
Right. So, while we are on this subject, and like I mentioned in the beginning, there is a serious technology war going on between two superpowers, China and US. We are somewhere in the middle, holding our own ground. एक तो वो, and the other macro headwinds which are there, especially on the technology front, because the way I look at it, all countries are trying to figure out how to regulate or govern AI or how to govern the evolution of technology. इसका impact क्या होगा on a country like India, which is innovating, developing at a rapid pace, but just to create enough jobs and looking at the size of population, we need to innovate much more and probably on a much larger scale.
तो पहली बात ये बहुत क्लियर है कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल चाइना इज सुपर पावर, ये एक्नॉलेजमेंट हो गया इस सवाल में. which is a very interesting thing. In AI age, the US tried everything to stop it, but it has been able to do a good job of what models have come out. At the same point in time, I do believe as a country, we could be the capital of what AI can do to the world once again. I mean, हमें प्रोग्रामिंग समझ में आ गई, हमारे कंट्री में मार्केट नहीं था, तो हमने दुनिया के लिए कर दिया. इसी तरीके से मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देने वाला हूँ. इमेजिन अ पोर्ट बीइंग मैनेज्ड ऑन पनामा, जिसको कि आजकल बात हो रही है हचिंसन सेल करेगा नहीं करेगा, उसको रिमोटली मैनेज करने के लिए, उसका रिमोट वॉच रखने के लिए, चाहे वो कितना भी ऑटोनोमस हो जाए, ह्यूमंस की जरूरत होती है. और यहाँ पे कुछ लोग तो उसको मैनुअल भी ड्राइव करते हैं. आई एम श्योर इफ यू जस्ट गो नुएंसिंगली दे विल बी लिटिल बिट ऑफ ह्यूमन. सो एक 1% लिवरेजेस ऑफ 5% ऑफ जॉब, दैट इज द एफिशिएंसी एंड सो ऑन. सो there are more kind of jobs will come our way. I totally believe through AI, India will have a larger role to play in global economy, and like we've done in services, and if we extend only in the services, there will be a great opportunity, because in this case there is no infra that has got built to be sent. It is rather the services, and as you are aware, the developed countries are not getting trained in even the services, further services. So for me, I do believe that India will have larger percentage of contributions to global GDP by virtue of having skilled, young, demographic, skillful, capable to learn people. आप खुद देख के देखो ना, अगर टिकटॉक गया और इंस्टाग्राम का रील का प्लेटफॉर्म आया, तो इंडिया का कंटेंट प्रोडक्शन कितना ड्रामेटिक बढ़ा है. The amount of content it can produce. So can you produce content for that country where the population does not have people to serve? Answer is yes. And can you translate now lip sync into their local language? Answer is yes. क्या हम उस कंट्री की सिटीजन गवर्नेंस सर्विस डिलीवर कर सकते हैं जो एक टोटल डिफरेंट लैंग्वेज की कंट्री में? आंसर इज यस. सो it will require the blinders to go up and then see a wider horizon of opportunity. What we have done has enough credibility on the table. We've delivered in IT services, we have built in startup ecosystem, and we have a skillful demographic. I think it's a lethal combination. I'm very, very positive on the number of jobs AI system will create for India, even though it looks like that it will eat into some jobs, but it will rather open the job opportunity for Indians to take a larger level.
Right. You think ये जो global trade war जिसकी आजकल इतनी बातचीत हो रही है, is it a real threat or is it a passing phase? Because a lot of it is actually rhetoric, probably jingoism. And secondly, if it turns out to be true, or if the worst case scenario plays out, what is your sense on the funding scenario? Because we did see a long funding winter, especially for startups, and it was pretty bad.
आपने सही बोला कि I should be sectored into a young startup ecosystem, and that is what I will use this context for. हम लोगों को फर्क नहीं पड़ता ग्लोबल वॉर हो रहा हो ना हो रहा हो, हमें फर्क पड़ता है कि इंडिया में इन्वेस्टमेंट आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा, और यंग कंपनीज में आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा. दैट आई बिलीव इज समथिंग, बिकॉज ऑफ यूएस ट्रेजरी यील्ड्स बीइंग हायर, द मनी जस्ट सक बैक. So once the US treasuries yields go low, the money comes back to the emerging markets, including India. So as a entrepreneur in the technology space or young startup space in India, while it is, whether you talk about real war or trade war, which are happening, both are visible and seen, I would say anything that tilts the money flow back home, and that too in a startup ecosystem, is good. So maybe some of our policies, some of our international inter-country geopolitics or something restricts or limits that opportunity. The real thing that we should be, मतलब अर्जुन की आंख की तरह हमें सिर्फ एक ही काम करना चाहिए कि पैसे कैसे आएं, और बाकी सब कुछ सॉर्ट आउट हो जाएगा. क्योंकि यहाँ पे जो लोग हैं, जैसा आप जानते हो, एज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी वी आर एबल टू टेक केयर. एंड आई थिंक इट हैज बीन टॉक्ड मच अबाउट, आपने भी बोला हुआ है कि एटलीस्ट स्टॉक मार्केट को तो इंडिया इन्वेस्टर मिल गया है ना. मतलब अब हम वो ऑर्फन नहीं रहे जो कि अगर बाहर चले जाते हैं, इंटरनेशनल इन्वेस्टर चले जाता है, तो डोमेस्टिक मार्केट के बहुत सारा इन्वेस्टमेंट आ जाता है. एंड दैट्स आई थिंक इज अ मैच्योरिटी. वंस अगेन, लाइक आई सेड, इट इज इनएविटेबल टू हैपन. ये होके रहेगा, हम ही तो यही होके रहेगा.
Right.
So that is what it is.
Absolutely. Somebody, let's say a youngster or a kid who's watching you right now, उन्हें आप कौन सी 3 चीजें कहना चाहेंगे? Because I think the current generation of kids or youngsters are actually they are born in a golden era, because जैसे सब लोग मानते हैं कि भारत का actual जो सबसे अच्छा दौर है, that lies ahead of us and not behind us. उन्हें आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
Well, सबसे पहले किसी चीज की रिस्पेक्ट और वैल्यू करने के लिए आपको कॉन्टेक्चुअल नॉलेज होनी चाहिए। तो मैं पहले उनसे कहूंगा जाके देख के आओ आपके ग्रैंडफादर, फादर और उस जनरेशन में किस तरह से लाइफ थी। लाइफ इंक्लूड्स वेदर लोकल सर्विसेज, लाइफ इंक्लूड्स लोकल अपॉर्चुनिटीज और इवन द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू क्रिएट अ बिजनेस। मेरे फादर के जमाने में, मैंने आपको बोला मेरे फादर के जमाने में, मतलब व्हेन वी वर किड एंड ही वाज इन द प्राइम एज दैट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट इट, एक बिजनेस करना पाप माना जाता था। मतलब बिजनेसमैन को ऐसे देखा जाता है चोर है ये आदमी, जरूर मिर्ची में मिट्टी का वो क्या ईंट का पाउडर मिलाने वाला व्यक्ति बनेगा। एंड आई वाज लाइक ये क्या जवाब पूछ रहे हो मेरे से, मैं बिजनेस करूंगा मतलब ये थोड़ी करूंगा। एंड आई रिमेंबर दैट द सोशल एक्सेप्टेंस ऑफ इवन अ बिजनेसमैन वाज सो ऑकवर्डली बैड। So first of all, understand what we have come from so that you can acknowledge an opportunity. क्योंकि अपॉर्चुनिटी उसी को समझ में आएगी ना जब पता चले कि अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं थी। तो मेरा मानना है सबसे पहला रोल होना चाहिए कि जाके आप थोड़ा सा कॉन्टेक्चुअलाइज करिए अपने आप को, हाउ इट डिड नॉट हैपन। एंड लिटरली 10 years बिफोर अस, वी आर टॉकिंग 2014 एंड कंपनीज, आप उस टाइम पे देखो नौकरी हमारे संजीव बिखचंदानी थे और उस टाइम पे मेक माई ट्रिप वगैरह सब कंपनियां थी 2004, 6, 8, 10 में। वो लोग बोला करते थे कि हमारा बिजनेस तब बड़ा होगा जब लोकल मार्केट बड़ा होगा। इफ यू रिमेंबर, ब्रॉडबैंड पॉलिसी के ऊपर डिस्कशन हुआ करता था स्टेज पे कि कब इतने कितने मिलियन लोग इंटरनेट कनेक्शन लेंगे, इफ यू रिमेंबर ऑल दैट। सो माई continuous acknowledgement is towards what India has got built in last 10 years. It is extraordinary, it is phenomenal, it is underestimated, it can't be said enough, and it is not understood enough by the people who have just sailed through. उन्हें पता नहीं हम कहाँ से आए थे। So पहला ये। And second, I'll say that India is not just the greatest of the opportunity, it is also greatest of the opportunity for outside in the world. Because the world is shattered at different layers. India is the only peaceful large economy where you can walk in to build something of a size. When we thought about international diversification, my board said कि आपका कहीं यही है आपका, मतलब यही मस्जिद, यही मदीना, यही भगवान, यही सब कुछ है आपका, बाहर कुछ नहीं मिलेगा तुम्हें, क्योंकि बाहर वाले लोग यहाँ आना चाहते हैं। सो ये क्लैरिटी मैं बताना चाहता हूँ दैट इंडियाज अपॉर्चुनिटी इज वॉट we are, some of us are able to see, many of us are still continued challenge। और कुछ ना कुछ तो बुरा तो होता ही है, देखो हर चीज के साथ बुरा होता है। आप यूएस में चले जाओगे तो वहां पे भी बहुत कुछ बुरा होता है, और आप अगर एक किसी और कंट्री की बात कर लो वहां का बुरा होता है। तो बुराई तो एम्पलीफाई होके पब्लिश हो सकती है, बट आपका जो रियल सेंस ऑफ व्हाट इंडिया अपॉर्चुनिटी इज, इट्स फिनोमिनल। एंड थर्ड इज, मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि इंडिया की प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करो। When the river gets lot of water, जब आप प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करते हो तो सबके लिए दरवाजे खुलते हैं, तो हम सब ऊपर बढ़ेंगे। जब हम सब मिलके बढ़ेंगे ना, तो हमारा देश वो बनेगा जिसको कि हम ड्रीम करते हैं। अगर आप क्रिप करते रहोगे तो यार फिर तो कुछ होगा ही नहीं ना। आप बोलते रहो कि क्रिकेट में खेलता नहीं है, ये नहीं करता, या फिर ये क्यों नहीं करते, ये क्यों नहीं करते। Why be an armchair critic when you can be a game player? Come be a part of it. This is the India opportunity.
That came from the heart. Thank you so much, Vijay, for joining us on this brilliant conversation.